And that's why I love your content. I feel so in love with it because your accomplishments and what you've built is extraordinary. But you had to be an extraordinary man to pull something like that off. And it happens in the home first, like what you're doing on your spare time. You sitting there doing 100 miles for fun. Like, you're psycho crazy. Like, that means you're psycho crazy enough to build something extraordinary. Entrepreneurship. I have to somehow perform on television. Perform on television. Then I have an interview with Jesse Itzler after this. Then I have an event to go to. And I've had diarrhea all last night. And literally, my intestines are being twisted. Like, it hurts so bad. So I was telling the team that if they see me like this on TV, know that I'm screaming out in excruciating pain. Bathroom.
On tour.
I know.
On tour.
I miss my baby.
Yeah, I miss my baby. They just want to go home.
Alright.
Circle. You know. That's how we do. We in Atlanta right now.
Black Enterprise is reporting that African American wealth will fall to zero by 2053. What do you think about this statistic? How did we get to this possibility? We look at so many people going to college now. They're coming out expecting jobs, and reality is it just may not be enough to survive. How do you change this? Good morning.
Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Congratulations on your recent article in Forbes magazine. You and your husband are pushing your social media followers to focus on generational wealth. Explain generational wealth and its importance. How are you and your husband making this something that is a reality? And it's not just the next generation that you're impacting. Why is it so important for you to retire your mom? You even went as far as to write her resignation letter for her job.
Good question.
Right? I'm obsessed with them. Great questions. I love it.
Good. I'll be 8:45. I'm gonna check the water and the tea.
Thank you so much.
Not fluff. It's like real questions around like things that you already talked about. So I'm glad that it wasn't like.
Those are good.
So
Black Enterprise is making an assumption that black wealth is going to be at 0%.
No, that's not an assumption. That's based off of statistics. That's a reality. They looked at all the statistics and and looked at generational wealth and I seen that article go out probably about a few months ago. So that's a real reality.
It ain't no real reality. It's what people are assuming based off of data that they have. That doesn't mean it's a reality.
But things don't change, of course, if we continue down the same path. Then
but that's what I'm for.
Can be a reality.
So with data's not being measured.
That's crazy. That's what I'm curious about. That's what what data is not being measured.
Yes. Dana, I was like, wait a minute, what? Good morning. 3, 2, 1, and go. Thank you.
Dana.
Welcome back to Sister Circle Live. Black Enterprise is reporting that African American wealth will fall to zero by 2053. Our next guest is working to make sure that doesn't happen to her family and yours. Please welcome owner of Sprinkle of Jesus and the Black-owned online beauty supply store, Curl Bible, Dana Chanel, to the circle. Welcome to the show, beautiful.
Can I clap for myself?
Clap for yourself. Okay, so you heard that statistic. By 2053, black wealth, zero. What does that make you feel like when you think about that stat?
Well, first, I think it's preposterous.
Yes.
Because I'm just letting you know I ain't never going back to where I came from. So I'm not a part of that 0%.
Yes.
And neither are the people that are rocking with me. So what's interesting is I don't believe that I can change the world. I'm actually changing the households that make up the world.
Yes.
And so for me, when I think about the businesses that we've built, I remember having like a real conversation with my family. Yeah. And we took a drive down the hood. And we started writing down every single business that we realized haven't moved in years. So the tax preparation, the credit repair, the beauty supply store. And so we started masterminding ways that we can build up the business, make it successful, and then build out the blueprint so that we can give it to families like ours. Because the problem is that, not that we're not capable, we're literally building corporations. We're literally sitting at those desks, sitting at those tables, building corporations. The problem is there was a lack of leadership in the home when it came to having the answers. So our Black families, our Hispanic families don't have the answers. And so if it takes my family to go ahead and do all that we can to create a foundation to distribute and license out businesses with the blueprint, then that's what's going to happen. And that statistic ain't true.
Yeah, I like that.
You better say it out this table.
What time is it?
9:56.
I want to be there before the availability. We know what, like, you know what I mean?
And we gotta stop and get gas.
Yeah.
You look gorgeous. The TV made your face even gorgeous.
It's a light.
The light made it crazy. Oh, yeah.
What does he expect for me to get in 15 minutes? That's you get what I'm saying? What does exactly? That's what I'm trying to think in his brain. What is he expecting me to get in 15 minutes?
You know damn well you can't do nothing in 15 minutes for him.
Oh no, Dana can.
No, I'm saying, but
Yeah.
to really get into the meat of a conversation, it usually takes about an hour, like 30, 45 minutes to get into a meat of a conversation. 15 minutes.
Now let me tell you. Somebody unexperienced would try to ask as many questions as possible within 15 minutes. But what I'm gonna do is, no. All I need is one. I just have to slow him down. Because if he's already going in with the mindset that he has 15 minutes, what is he doing?
Calm down.
You get what I'm saying? He's rushing, and I'm not gonna get the reaction that I want out of him if he's not even all the way there. I gotta slow him down. Exactly. So I'm gonna slow him down for a second by telling him a story and then asking him exactly what I need to set the tone. All I care about is one question. I've been masterminding this for the last 2 days. I've been asking myself, looking at what's the end goal of what I want Van to put together when it comes to storytelling. You feel me? So all I got is one question. Now if we continue, you know I can make it happen from there. But I only came in with one question if they really want to play the 15-minute game.
I do truly believe that he does have things he has to do, just because he does talk about the fact that his schedule is lined up and he doesn't like to go outside of it. But I also think for somebody that they will view as inexperienced or they don't know, you're a young millennial, they would tell you a 15-minute time limit, and then they allow you to gather more time. Exactly. I would do the same thing. Like, you got 15 minutes.
You got 15 minutes.
And then impress me. And after impressing me, I'll give you more time.
Can you just talk real quick? Let me just test the sound.
Hey, what's up? I'm Dana. Nice to meet you. We're about to shoot some content with Jesse. This is pretty darn cool.
I'm just happy to be here, bro. That's all I keep thinking. That's all I keep thinking, bro. I'm just happy to be here, bro.
Jesse Itzler right there.
Hey.
Hi.
Hello. It's for real.
Nice to meet you, Jesse.
Hi, Kiana.
How you doing? How you doing? What's going
This is the
on?
wolf pack.
Hey, I gotta get my hair and makeup done. Come on. Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome.
Gorgeous property.
Where you guys coming from?
We're from Philadelphia.
Where you from? Disney. You're from Philly originally?
So I grew up in Delaware, like around cows and chickens and all that kind of stuff.
All right.
And then we moved to Philly because New York is just way too freaking expensive. way too expensive.
Anybody else?
Yes, I'll take it. Well, I have one. No, thank you.
I'll take some of yours, babe.
I'm a New Yorker.
I'll take a cup, please.
You got it,
The
man.
best city in the world, honestly.
All right, thank you.
Anybody else? All right, come on down. Let's figure out what we can do here. Oh. Take a seat, guys. Plan this out. So tell me what you do. I don't even know anything about you.
What?
Who are you guys?
You invite somebody to your house and you don't know what we do?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So I feel like me and my father reconnected after, I would say, about like 19 years of him being like in and out of my life. We didn't have like a really good relationship. And so when we finally reconnected, of course there was so much resentment there. So we had to find...
And I'm going to change just so you guys know.
All right,
I'm
that's
not
cool.
so sweaty.
No problem.
I feel like God had to find a common goal for us to even remotely be on one accord with one another again. And that happened to be business. And so I remember I was like working the front desk at a strip club, and I gave him a call just to see how I was doing. And he was like, hey, how about you just come visit me? And visited him once, went back to work, and told the manager, hey, today's my last day. And he was like, wait, what? What do you mean today's your last day? And I went and moved with my dad.
What was your dad doing at the time?
He's Uncle Magic, the hip-hop magician. So he's pretty big in the New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut area. His commercials have been running for like 15 years.
He does magic at parties and stuff? Or
Yeah, so he's done parties for like Russell, for Jay-Z, everybody in the industry. And like when I came back into his life and we started talking again and stuff like that, he was like, well, what do you want to do? And I was like, I think I want to be a singer. And then he was like, okay, I guess we can do that. And so he was trying to help me find like a backdoor to the music industry, since it doesn't work like that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like just giving somebody your mixtape or something. And everything was so provocative and it just wasn't my vibe. Like it just wasn't sitting right with me at all. And so I was actually like reading the Word of God and kind of like getting to know all that kind of stuff. And so then I came up to him one day and I was like, yeah, I think I changed my mind. I think I want to talk about God for a living. And he was like, how the heck am I supposed to do that? And ever since that, we built Sprinkle of Jesus, which is the largest app in the world for Christians. And then we were like looking at our family, just saying like, how can we distribute this wealth onto every single other family member? And so then we opened Curl Bible, which is a distribution company for our beauty products. Jumping Jack Tax, we're the fastest growing tax company in the country right now with over 400 partners. And then Alakazam apps, we've put over 3,000 apps in the App Store. And then Credit Exterminators, we've fixed credit and all that kind of stuff. And now we're...
And how does this team fit in?
This is my husband.
Okay, cool. Congratulations.
We call him the storyteller.
Okay.
He literally puts together our life for other people to understand and us tell our stories.
All right.
I work with the credit company. So I'm
Okay.
an executive with the credit company.
And Miss PR.
I'm a key to that.
And you guys all are based out of Philly?
Yes.
Yes.
Wow. You guys have kids?
Not yet.
No.
I do.
I do. I'm the oldest out of all.
How old are you?
10-year-old. I'm 42.
I'm 29, I have a 7-year-old daughter.
Nice.
I told Don I wanted 9, but he said I'm limited to 3 one day. That's it.
How old are you guys?
You gotta think of 25.
25.
Okay, so you got it all in front of you, man. That's amazing. You got it all in front of you.
I just feel super grateful just to be like, just blessed in this time and this era of how I feel so empowered just by the access to information. Because like, just college wasn't for any of us, to be honest with you. I just couldn't find myself okay with the idea that they'd let me sign a loan for almost an entire house, but yet there's nothing else that I could do to go to the bank where they trust me with money. So it just didn't add up to me when trying to understand, okay, where is my life going? And then when everything fell into place when me and my dad reconnected. But I felt like it was a situation where I couldn't have a earthly relationship with my real dad if I didn't humble myself and already accept forgiveness in my heart and had a relationship with my Heavenly Father. So we had like, it was horrible. Like, I've lived in a house with a man that I hated because I did not understand anything. I was so resentful. And then, at 19, you think you're grown. But
You grew up in Philly?
I grew up in Delaware.
Oh, in Delaware.
Yeah,
Delaware.
and then I had visited him in New York.
Okay.
So it was after that, you've literally just been kind of just doing all that we can to put things in place for other people. And then like, once we believe that a family member is ready for leadership, they'll go ahead and take leadership on the next business. And we've been using Sprinkle of Jesus as like our advertisement platform. People were paying us ad money to advertise their businesses
On the app?
on the app. So we were like, dude,
And how many people have the app?
over 8 million.
And you guys, who's the sole owner of that app?
Me,
So you started it from scratch.
with a broken laptop.
And how did you build it to 8 million?
Strategic marketing.
But like, what would you, if you had to say what the silver bullet was, what was like the main?
Providing Christians opportunity. I let people do the work for me. And I feel like the way that we strategically create content with great storytelling and the mission and allowing people to have access. I mean, something that was the beginning foundational story for us was, okay, I didn't grow up in the church, but when I was getting to know God, I sat there, went to the church, and it was really confusing to me how you would have a woman on the bus struggling with her 3 kids to get to church. And then you asked her for money to tithe and to offer, and 100% understand it's a spiritual thing. But then the second that you saw that she needed help on her rent, go pray about it. The church can't provide there. Just go pray about it. And so when I saw how much money we were making with Sprinkle of Jesus, I'm like, dude, first, this mobile stuff, like we have to innovate so quickly and give people the opportunity to create their own mobile applications so that they take back the access that social media doesn't give us. And that's where the Alakazam apps business started. We started putting other Christian small businesses, Christian business owners on television, advertisement, all that kind of stuff. And so I don't think it really took off until we were a conduit of the finances and the wealth that we had to show other believers how to do it. Because it's something in the church they're not talking about. They don't talk about the money part. But the church
How long
is such
ago
a
did you start it?
4.5 years ago.
So you were 21 when you started?
Yep.
Something like that, 2021.
I was,
wow,
for
that's
2 years,
impressive.
I was legit, like, since my dad's a magician, and we shouldn't put this on camera, but we have costume characters that he allows the parent or the party to book, like Elmo and SpongeBob. And so for 2 years, I was just doing all that I can, watching him, how he operated, I would do anything from holding his birds for the magic show to getting in the costume character and dancing for hours. And so that's what I was doing for 2 years until we built Sprinkle of Jesus.
That's super impressive. How did I end up here in this mix?
I just DM'd you. And I was like, everything I ask God for, he gives me, and more than I could ever ask for. And you answered, bro. And I was like, is he serious? Sometimes you put yourself in a position you don't even believe that you're prepared for. But I believed in myself, and I believed in my capability. And I said, if I could get in a room with him, to just say hello, and him know who I am, but most importantly, if there's anything that I could do to advance his vision, oh my gosh, I'd be willing to do anything. And so God answered my call, and how did I get here? Was the question.
Wow, that's super cool. Well, I'm glad you did. You're a great person. Like, I'm so proud of what you've been able to do. This is an amazing story. I love hearing stories like this. And I can't, like, in 10 years from now, I'm going to DM you. And you got to remember that I let you into my house. So I'm going to remember. Okay, cool. No, I love hearing stories like this. And, you know, to get where you guys are, where you are so young, and then with, you know, a really good head on your shoulders is a really impressive place to be at a young age. It took me a long time to figure out like what I was, what I wanted to be, who I want to be. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do to change the world. And, you know, you've been able to do that at a young age. So, like, the rest is gravy. Like, you're on the gravy train. The rest of it is just, like, free. It's really cool.
What do you feel like, because I'm constantly thinking about that story with my father. And I know something he's constantly been preparing me for is, like, his death. It's like, hey, like, I've set you up. You're the CEO of the family, you know what I mean? You're the CEO of the businesses. Just make sure I'm putting you in place. I'm teaching you what to do when I leave. He's been preparing me for his death. And I've just been constantly thinking about, like, even for you, because let's not pretend that you're not building extraordinary little children. I watch, you know, I follow Sarah. I see you guys, you're an extraordinary man. She's an extraordinary woman. And together I could only imagine what you're teaching these kids. And it was like for me, because I know there's a special place with like a father and a daughter, is like, what intentionally do you want her to like walk away with from Rich remembering like you?
That's a really good question. I don't, it's not a specific thing. It's just a feeling and a vibe and like who she is as a human. And you can't tell your kids. You have to show them. So everything, they're watching everything. Last night, Sarah's away, but last night my daughter came into my bed at 2 a.m. And normally I would be like, sweetie, we're gonna go back into your bed. We're gonna get a good night's sleep, or whatever. And last night I was like, Mommy's not here. Come into my bed. And she was like, what? That's not what I expected. She's 3 years old. She's like, why you say that again, Dad? And you get like, when you get a chance to create memories and moments as parents or as individuals, you got to take it, because you just never know what the next day brings or how long, if you'll ever get that chance again. So for me with my kids, it's just like whenever I get a chance to create a memory, I'll never be like, I'm too tired, I got something else to do. It's always, it's always like, let's do it. Same with my friends, same with my family, same with my wife, same with me. If I just ran a race, I'm all sitting here like still sweating, but I just ran a race a while ago, a week ago, 2 weeks ago. And it was after I'd run a really long race and I was still banged up and swollen, and I came home and I was like not happy. I wanted more. And I Googled like right away, like what's the next 100-mile race? Wow. And I saw it was this day, and it was like, I signed up. Like I called and I signed up right away. And it's just because you just never know if you're going to get that other chance. So you just don't know. So for me, I live my life like ready, fire, aim, like just whatever. And regardless of, I'm not scared really of getting, a lot of people, getting over the fear of being embarrassed. It's the most liberating gift you can give yourself. A lot of people haven't gotten over that fear. Once you get over that and you're not scared to DM somebody or show up or, waiting. I've sat in lobbies and offices for hours just to see somebody or not even see them, just so I could just see how their mannerisms are or whatever. I'll do it. I won't put it off. So with my kids, it's the same way. It's a long-winded answer to, but parenting's a work in progress. It's just, and they're on their own journey. Your kids are on a completely different journey. Like you're growing up different than your dad. You're running businesses. Your dad is a creative guy. I assume most creative people aren't great at business. It's hard to have both skills. Like
he's not very organized.
Right.
And I'm like,
Right. But so your journey is very different than your dad's. And when you have kids, their journey is going to be different. Because I like to go outside and play basketball every night when I was growing up, and my son wants to sit home and play Minecraft. I can't tell him go play basketball. Like that was me. Wow. He has his own thing, so you can't live like they're all different. So all of my kids are parented a little bit differently, dealt with a little bit differently. Some are more sensitive than others, and it's tough figuring all that out. And you just figure it out as you go, just like business.
Definitely is. And I feel like even too, it's cool to be like free and liberating and young, but I'm finding too the way that people view me or see me, or even just in leadership in general, of like, maybe 6 months ago, a year ago, I had to fire my first team member, and I was like, okay, yeah, this just got real. Like I wanted to cry.
Yeah,
like
it's hard.
Crap, but it was one of those things, just like, because we have a strong family unit in the household, or at least we built it. It wasn't always there. I just realized how quick an infection can get out of control when people are around but don't really believe. And that's scary.
Yeah, you're not really free. You have 8 million people that, you provide content for and a message and hope. That's not freedom. That's responsibility.
It is. But I think of it as freedom because I've been chosen for this. So
you have tremendous freedom in certain regards, but you also have tremendous responsibility. So you just gotta weigh that.
What would you say is like kind of that brick wall that you see a lot of young entrepreneurs, that if you could be like wait, don't do that when it comes to like themselves becoming a leader. Because I feel like these are the things that people don't talk about. Because like for me, okay, I can read the strategies in a book, I can do all that, but what you're not telling me is how to evaluate myself to operate with other people. And that's the number one thing. Managing business is obviously super easy, but it's about managing the people. And so I'm curious if there's anything like, if you're like, Dana, don't run into that brick wall.
I would just say as soon as you can get, like when you start out in business, even at a young age, at 20, you have to wear every hat. So like you're hiring, firing, marketing, you know, it's just you're wearing a lot of different hats. And as soon as you can afford to bring in people like to do the firing, to do the things you don't like to do or you're not good at, to free up the time. You want to spend as much time doing what you're great at that can move the needle forward as quickly. Like being an entrepreneur is figuring out how to get from A to B the fastest. So like if you can hire people that can speed up that journey for you to get from here to here as quickly as you can, that's a good hire. And you know, I have a lot of weaknesses. I'm a terrible manager. I'm like your dad. I'm disorganized in a lot of things, but I have good vision. I'm creative. I have other strengths. And creativity works in a weird way because it hits you at different hours. It hits you at different, I could be in a meeting. I'm like, the meeting's over. I got an idea. I'll be back. Like before I forget it, like everyone's like, what? Boom. I'll like start writing for like 4 hours and I'll get everyone back for the meeting. Like, wow. You know, so you just want to build a team of people that can do your weaknesses and you know, do things that you can't do. And you want to avoid the big mistake, whatever that is, you know, because like in today's world, one little thing, it's like you have to defend it. It's on Twitter, it's on Instagram. It's like, so you have to just be, I don't even know if I was 25. I was thinking about this the other day. If I could have started some of the companies that I did now, I don't think so. Because I'm like, I'm not tech savvy. I can't do anything when it comes to technology in a world that's driven by technology. So I don't know, it would have been hard for me today versus back then when it was just like brick and mortar, you know, selling like human to human, you know what I mean? Finding leads, like there was no sophisticated way to get leads. You had to like just outsmart people and show up and get creative in how you could, like that was my era. Like I found that, and I might be wrong about this, but like if you have one consistent message, you have the best chance of building up, right? So if this is like your one message, and I don't have one message, that's so boring to me. So for me, I just don't want to do that. So I'll sacrifice followers or likes or whatever to tell the stories the way I want to tell them, when I want to tell them about what I want to tell them about. I know if I went into one bucket, I'm like, I'm going to give pure business advice. Yeah. I'm just going to, every day, I'm going to like, man, I am battle tested. I've been sued, I've been broke, I'm battle tested. I've sold companies, I've bootstrapped it. I've done it 9 different ways. I'm just going to give all those lessons in 51 years of life every day. That would be I would probably grow 5 times as fast as showing my kids eating dinner with me. But that's boring to me. It's just boring. So I'm not really playing the like, I'm going to do this to gain things. I'm just going to do what I want to do when I want to do it. This is my life and that's it.
But Jesse, you're not doing anything wrong. It's perfect because I would say Don restarted his entire brand. He was ready for leadership. We gave him jumping jack tax. It was the very thing that he was prepared to do. He used to work at the bank. So he deleted his entire social media account and started from zero. And I remember they're in this corner that they create content in, and Don's just talking. And I'm like, oh my gosh, let me go over there and say something. I already know he's rolling his eyes inside. I'm like, babe, that sucks. Do it over again. And he's like, what do you mean, what? And I came over there and I said to him, people want to hear stories. People want you to paint an image in their mind of what is it that they see when you wake up in the morning, or what you've seen. It does not have to be about business, but people want to see you as an individual. No longer is your history, despite how extraordinary it is, going to get you a lot of followers. People want to know the type of man that you are, the husband you are to
billionaire as Sarah Blakely. The father that you are to those 3 kids and how you manage it. Who you are, who to your friends. Who you are as a leader, not just your knowledge. It's never enough because people want knowledge and entertainment. And we only entertain by giving them access to a show. But our memories are the show. And so I truly encourage, don't think you have to do that. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Show people the inside of your life or what is it that you're willing to, and just give them very detailed stories to paint a picture of something that they have not yet obtained. And I promise that content will move faster. The second I gave him that advice, he grew 200,000 followers. In how long?
Probably about 3 months. Yeah.
Just finding small stories to bring people into your life because they know what you've accomplished. It's extraordinary. They just want to know who is it that could accomplish something like that and how could I just have a piece of it. So what you're doing is right. What you're doing is extraordinary, Jesse. Keep doing that.
You guys are invited back. You're invited back. You got an open invite.
Don't feel like that though. That's what a lot of people do. All those Instagrammers and especially the men as well, because I've watched their content and I've seen the way that Don was going. It's all about finances, but one of his videos did 10 million views on YouTube, and guess what the title was? How I Found My Wife.
We live in this world where the dynamic between man and woman is, you know, who's the leader of the household, who's not, and that's like a huge thing right now. I feel like for me, you know, dealing with an extraordinary woman such as Dana and yourself also marrying an extraordinary woman as well, it took me a while to adapt to that experience of how to deal with her, you know, and what makes her tick, what role do I play? Of course, it took me a while to find my purpose as well with Jumpin' Jack Tack, so I'm happy right now. But there was a certain point where when I first came into the family business, I was still trying to figure me out, you know, and I saw her soaring, like she's high flying. And I remember we were in the car one day and I made some sort of statement to her, basically putting her in this box to tell her, like, you know, pretty much to like slow down a little bit. But it was really because of my own, like, you know, my heart towards me not moving forward. And I remember we got into this huge argument. She's screaming out of control. And I remember her saying to me, if we had a daughter, would you tell her that she could not be the next president of the United States of America? And I said, no. She said, well, I want you to have that same outlook when you look at me. Don't limit my growth or my potential because of that dynamic of manhood, right? So my question for you is, with you marrying an extraordinary woman as well, and being extraordinary in your own right, how as a man do you adjust to that dynamic in the household?
It just 4 simple words. Whatever you say, dear. That's it, and move on. No, I think it's, you know, when you got to separate ego, you got to separate all that stuff. And for me, it's I've had no issue with it. I got married older, so I already had a lot under my belt. Sarah had a lot under her belt. I was independent. She was independent. As humans, financially, everything. She had her own business, I had my own business. But I never struggled with it. Like when it's time for her light to shine and the spotlight is on her, I'm proud of her, happy for her. If the spotlight shifts at any point over a little bit to me for something, great. I've always taken I'm very proud, never limited, you know. So I never had an issue with it. It sounds crazy, but like, just proud of her, you know, and yeah.
I think that was a game changer in our relationship.
It's hard for a lot of guys. I think, you know, you have a woman and she's doing great things and you're breaking out of like maybe traditional family roles, you know, and all that stuff. I just go with the flow, man. Just go with it. And I wish I had a better answer, like, but for me, it's just always been like proud, supportive. That's my role. You know, whatever can make her lane better, easier.
Right.
That's the role of a husband, and that's that.
Now, my last question is, I read an article which said that you ran 36,000 miles over 25 years, which I break things down into smaller numbers, which that pretty much equals out to about 1,400 miles a year, and probably, let's say about 120 miles a month,
Right.
which is that's wild. That equals up to probably about 5 miles a day.
Right.
So that shows that as a man, you possess a very high level of discipline when it comes to your daily habits. So how has your daily habits transferred over into you being a great husband, a great father, and overall businessman in general?
Because it's lifestyle. It's not, to me, it's not habits. It's just lifestyle. It's like, it's part of my lifestyle. I don't look at it as a chore. I don't look at it as like, it's just, this is what I do. And so it carries over that discipline. You can call it discipline. I call it lifestyle, but it just carries into everything.
Right.
So it's just consistency. It's like if you have a goal, that goal becomes your lifestyle until you hit the goal. So like, let's say it's building jumping jack, right? You're doing X, Y, and Z every day. It's not forever. It's until you get to a certain point, but that's your lifestyle. It's not like, oh, we have to. It's not we have to. It's what we're doing. It's part of our lifestyle to build this until it's built. And then I can go and do the next thing. And that's always how I've approached it. Like, I have 4 kids. It's not a chore. It's like my daughter came into my thing. It's what I signed up for. It's just, that's how I approach it. I don't look at it as like, oh my God, I'm up in the middle of the night. Dana's coming in tomorrow. And now I'm up at 2 a.m. I'm going to be up until 5 o'clock. I'm not going to be sharp when Dana gets here, because I don't look at it like that. My daughter's up. I'm a dad. Now I'm in dad mode. It's just like, that's the way my brain is wired. Running. I don't look at those miles as anything other than it's part of my life, how I eat. It's all part of the master plan to get as much out of my life as I can, period. So when I'm 80, I don't look back and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I was 80% of what I could have been. Like, nobody signed up to be the 80% version of themselves. So that's how I look at it. It's a much different way of looking at it than getting up and, like the old me might have been like, oh, you're up? What are you doing up? Go back to bed. It's 2 a.m. Instead of like, come into my bed. Like, this is what I'm a dad. Now I'm a dad.
Yeah.
If you go through life like that and you start to like, look at obstacles and challenges and things that happen, look at like being the best version of yourself through that lens where it's lifestyle, oh my God, man, it's a total game changer. When your how old are your parents?
Around 42, 43.
Yeah, so you guys are in a whole different world. But when your parents get older, are both your parents alive?
Yes.
Are they together?
No.
Are you close with both of them?
No, just my mother.
Okay. Do you see your dad?
Here and there.
How many times do you think you see your dad a year?
As of right now, I probably only saw him once this year.
Okay. So let's say your dad lives to be 80, 40 more years or something, 35 more years, whatever it is. It's like you don't have 35 years with your dad. You have 35 visits if you see him one time a year. Now, you might not have a good relationship with that. Who knows? All I'm saying is, like, when you start to look at time, like things, your parents get older. As you start to take care of your dad, Dana, or whatever, as he gets a little bit older, something happens, maybe someone gets sick. What used to be like could be perceived as a pain becomes a blessing, becomes like something you become proud of. So it's like these decisions of what you do as you get older make you proud of who you are. And that's the best gift you can give yourself. So like these runs, they're not about getting in shape, gaining weight. I'm married. She's gonna love me if I gain 10 or lose 10.
Yeah.
It's about making me proud of me. It's not discipline. It's just, you use the word discipline. It's not discipline. It's lifestyle and being proud of how I'm living my life. And it's a fundamental difference in how you look at things.
Yeah.
Different than making it like discipline. Discipline runs out. It'll run out over time. No one is that disciplined. Some, but rare. But when you start to shift it into like, this is who I am and who I want to be, then that lasts forever.
It's just the way things are.
It's just the way things are. Like, we ran this 100-mile run, man. It was like, the run was done. I already did it. There was no doubt, ever. I had to just fill in the blanks and complete the run. But it was done.
So you did it before?
It was in my head, it was done. I already wrote out what I was gonna write when I posted it. I already knew what I was gonna wear. I had my finishing outfit done and packed in a bag. This is what I'm gonna wear on the way home when I'm done with my 100 miles. This is how I'm gonna explain it to my kids.
Crazy.
This is what the post is gonna say. Now all I had to do is go and run it. Wow. It was done. I was a millionaire before I had a million. I used to say to my partner all the time, we're millionaires. They just haven't paid us yet. We're millionaires, man. They just haven't paid us yet.
Bank account hasn't caught up.
Yeah, they haven't. The wire hasn't hit yet. Because that spoken word and that belief is really important. So, the running is just part of the plan, man. It's just part of the plan.
So, what's the last chapter in your story?
180 years from now. Talking about that chapter. I don't know, man. I mean, I feel like I don't even want to say what it really is in my head because you guys would think I'm crazy.
No, you gotta say it now. You have to.
When you do big things, you run 100 miles, you sell a company, whatever. It could be something that's small, but in your head is a big step. Your brain starts to think like, wow, I'm capable of. I started running, I could run 2 miles. That was my goal. If I could run 2 miles without stopping, in 20 minutes I was a runner. Nothing in my body changed since that moment. These are the same legs God gave me, same lungs. Mm-hmm. I'm not very strong. Nothing's changed. But I took that same 2-mile goal and just 1 week ago ran 100 miles. Mm-hmm. The only thing that changed is I started believing I could do bigger things. I wasn't limited to what they wrote in little journals or what people post or what my neighbors are doing in the neighborhood when they go on their 4-mile runs. I wasn't limited to any of that. Once you start to see big vision, I can make $1 million. Why can't I make 5, 10, 15, 100? It just, the whole world opens up. So when I look at what does the end chapter look like, it has to be something big globally that impacts the world. Like, I want to make a difference. What was I put here to do? Like, it wasn't to run 100 miles or have an Instagram account, it has to be something that, like, when my kids look back, they're like, oh my God, my dad discovered oil. My dad saved this. So I have a really big idea in the water space. Water's a huge issue that I think could have that kind of legacy that I want. So my idea is when I think about things now, 51, it's like, how can I have a really big impact globally? Think about this, man. Let me leave you with this. If you took all the energy, Dana, that you did over the last 4 years when you started your business, all the meetings, the 8-hour drive you have home right now, or 14-hour drive you have home, DMing people to track someone down to come into their home that's a complete stranger, going to Forbes dinners, jumping jack, the app, all the different things that you have going on, buying houses, doing all this stuff, right? And you took all that energy, all of it, and you channeled it into something cause related. Think about the impact you would have. So you could probably, you might even be able to cure cancer. If you put all that energy into all those connections and resources into that. So being an entrepreneur, man, I'm tired. I took 30 years of all that energy to build a business and do this, which was amazing. And it afforded me amazing things. It allows me to be charitable. It's given me a great platform to help people. But if I could take all that energy into some kind of cause, whoa, I think I could do some amazing things. So that's what the next chapter looks like for me. It's not trying to chase every dollar. I'm a capitalist. I want to make money. I want to do great things and provide products that help people and serve whatever. But it has to be something bigger than that. And that's where my energy is starting to shift.
Well, I just want you to know that I haven't known you very long, but I've watched you through social media and I've met you in real life.
And I'm willing to serve whatever cause that you want to accomplish. And so if you ever need anything, you got us.
Well, thank you guys. I feel the same way. I've known you for 3 minutes. I wish Sarah was here. You could have got a chance. You guys would have really connected in a massive way. So maybe next time you come down, or she's in New York, or you see her giving a speech and you want to just hit me, I want to connect you guys. You guys will, she would really gravitate towards you. So I'll be sure to set that up. Yeah.
Thank you.
And you would love her. Like, cool. Wow, that was good.
Blazer's the oldest?
Yeah.
How old is he?
He's 10. And we have Charlie and Lincoln, who they're outrageous.
Who's the one most like you?
Lincoln. This is Lincoln. Lincoln is definitely the most.
And the most like Sarah?
Laser. This is Lincoln. He's a little young here.
Are they twins?
Yeah.
Okay. Because sometimes
Tepper.
Lincoln looks a little bit older.
I know.
Oh my gosh. So cute.
This is Laser. Yeah, Laser's in a little entrepreneurial camp right now, and he's got his little inventions, and he's like, yeah, it's cool to watch.
Wow. Which one has the best gift of problem solving so far that you
Laser.
can see? Okay.
He's also the most work.
He wants to problem solve everything, doesn't he? Is this how we get out?
Yeah. Cool car. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I wish you could be my dad. That was gonna actually be my second dad. You'll have a 20.
Do you want to be my second daughter?
I totally can. I'm a 25-year-old. My dad, he said he feels so old.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm like,
That's hilarious.
just because, no, he said he felt really old when his daughter finally, like, got married.
That's hilarious. So this is, my wife built an office up there. She built a treehouse office. So it has
She can do
it
whatever
has
she
a
wants.
bed and a little wood-burning stove, and it's got a really cool bridge. So we built 3 little tree houses. It's a treehouse village, and all this is. We just moved in like a year ago, so all this is becoming leveled, and a pool and a tennis court, and it's gonna be cool, really cool.
So you're going to have a second pool.
I'm a swimmer, so
Okay.
we're gonna have
Olympic-sized pool?
Yeah, I need
Okay.
It's a lifestyle.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle.
No longer saying discipline.
Let's write it off to lifestyle.
Yeah.
That's dope. That's cool.
You guys must be having so much fun.
Man, we're happy.
What's the hardest part? What's the hardest thing?
Nothing.
It's all good?
Oh my gosh, I am, like, things will never be perfect with business, but I've never been so, like, happy in my life. And maybe I'm saying that a little premature because I'm only 25, but oh my gosh, I could get chills on my body just of, like, how happy and, you know, coming from the projects. Like, I remember my mom opening the stove to heat the, like, I remember this stuff. I remember being in a shelter before. Like, I remember, like, my feet hurting because freaking sneakers are too small, and my little sister would, like, I remember, so, like, this right here, my dad's not on the streets, selling drugs. Like, this is the life. I don't know what else
Let's take a
to
picture.
say. This is the
And then
life.
you guys got to get me a picture somehow. Just
We
text
got
it
you.
Just text it to me.
We got you. We can edit it. I'm just letting you know,
I have
this
like
content
3%,
right
so I don't have a
here,
flash.
you don't know who you just created content with. I'm just letting
man,
you know.
I know, man, I know. No, I want to take a picture so I could post it. I'll just text it. Just
Like a,
Yeah, I can,
Yeah,
I
put
can
on my
text it to you.
You guys coming in?
You on the path to $1 billion, yo.
Don't do that.
It is.
Nah. You want people to hype you up? We
I'm
hype you
trying.
up.
He didn't even know who you were, and he brought you in because he felt the vibe.
He just went off the energy and said, "Come to my
You were able
crib."
to pour into him just as much as he poured into you.
Just gave him what we got. That's all I got. Where is it? There on the other side. I don't know. Everyone's so loud. So cool. See if I see you on Facebook.
Yeah, Vonda's one that she was wearing.
Okay,
But here goes your pies.
so grateful.
All your stuff is in here. They should labeled.
Oh,
You see the
Billy.
super sluts?
We had a conversation with
One
Billy.
night. It has the stickers on it, your receipts in the bank, napkins, and then I put all your waters in this one.
Thank
so
you
that
so
it
much.
wouldn't-
I hit you up on Instagram, bro.
Yeah, you did.
What's up, bro? How y'all doing?
How are you?
I'm good. I look at all your videos, bro. I appreciate everything. I appreciate you, man.